Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening. It's so good to see you all. It's so good to be here. Today is January 12th. Can you all believe how quickly this month is progressing? It's amazing how this month is progressing. But guess what? We're here to tell it. We're here on the Let's Talk to Cutler broadcast, the Let's Talk to Cutler program, as I'm often here with you every Tuesday and Thursday for 1,800 seconds, trying to make every minute meaningful, every moment matter, and every second significant. And whatever space you allow me to share with you, I'm thankful for that. Whether it's your living room, your dining room, your bedroom, your front porch, your back porch, the carport, wherever it is, I'm thankful for you allowing me to share this space with you. Listen, as you are coming on to chat with me, why don't you do me a favor? Go ahead and click the thumbs up on the conversation. It just says to YouTube that you like what we're chit chatting about. It says to me that you are uh, sending out positive messages, positive vibes, and that you're encouraging me. And so for that, I'm thankful. By the way, what I'm going to do in a few moments is just to go ahead and shout out the LTTC VIPs for the evening. You all know our conversations are based on this book right here, Billboards to Better, 366 Daily Social Motivation Inspiration all in life. Try to say that in one breath. No, I wrote the book, but you try to say that in one breath. It's so good to be here. I'm so excited about the conversation tonight, you all. I really am. The book is available on Amazon. It's my seventh book. It's available over on Amazon.com. Or if you just want to see what my website looks like, you can go to www.gbcutler and get it. Why am I talking so quickly tonight? Because I feel good about the conversation. I have a whole lot to say, and I just want to make sure that I get it all out. You all, please do me a favor in the chat. Go ahead. If you haven't done so, make sure you do a thumbs up. But please do a shout out and say hello to a newcomer first time, Mika G. Make sure that you all make Mika feel really, really good. You all now in the chat, go ahead and say something nice and say greetings, welcome, so good to see you. Say that. Meanwhile, let me shout out the LTTC VIPs for the evening, and they are Raydella Lewis, Sonia Bailey, and Audrey Lady Winfrey. I'm so thankful to have all of you here with me. We're going to go ahead and get started. You all know I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 o'clock, and I'm only here for how long? 1,800 seconds, only here for 1,800 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. You all know how we do it. Every Tuesday, we will read a quote from Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And then on Thursday, we're here. We're going to read our quotes for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Saturday is your quote all day, your way, whatever you want to do. Use the quote to start a conversation. Use the quote as a way of meditation or whatever. Just go ahead and use it. But again, Mika, thank you so much for being with us for the first time. I want to go ahead and read a quote, you all. I want to read the quote, and then I want to get started talking because I say I have a whole lot to say. I really, really do. I have a whole lot to say, so I really want to get started. Let's look at the quote for January 10th. January 10th. Yes, that was Sunday. The quote for January 10th says this: sometimes we need to spend more time talking to people who spend less time talking about people. The lesson in that, you all, is to do what? Choose better conversation partners. Here we go. Choose better conversation partners. And if you have not done this yet, then make sure you do this. Pull up a chair, turn up the volume, and let's talk. One of the absolute best things, you all, that I think I have ever done is to learn how to evaluate and reevaluate my conversation partners. One of the best things I could have ever done because I get very little enjoyment, very little enlightenment, and not a whole lot of edification from people who talk about people. I just don't. If you talk about people all the time, you've told me everything that I need to know about you. If that's all you do is talk about people, do you all know people who talk about people all the time? I'm telling you, if that's all you do is talk about people, you've told me everything that I need to know about you because, in a nutshell, you've revealed to me that you are a very one dimensional person. If you can't talk about concepts and abstracts and ideas and dreams and hopes and world events and what's happening in culture, if you can't talk about personal growth, then what you're showing me and what you're showing others is that you're really showing how myopic you are and how narrowly focused you are when it comes to seeing the world. And that's not a good thing. because you might be so busy talking about people and seeing people until you miss out on the whole world that's around you. Don't see, don't see the world through the eyes of other people. Don't talk about them so much until their experiences are the only experiences that you know and the only experiences that you have. Don't spend that much time talking about people. Just don't do it. And I've got to go here, you all, because this might be one of the only ways that I can alert and teach some of us to reevaluate people. So I need to share this. If all the people talk about is other people, if you talk about people all the time, you've really alerted me and put me on notice that you might just talk about me. Why? Because I'm a people. I know I'm a person, but I'm a people. If all you talk about are people, you've alerted me to the fact that you might talk about me. And some of us know people. I'm going to use some of the young people's language and the colorful language. Some of us know people who are talkative, shady, messy, and nosy. And they seem to thrive and they bask in talking about who's doing what and who's with whom. They get their pleasure out of spreading gossip and being in the know and being the first to hear the latest. What kind of life is that? Y'all, let's choose better conversation partners. I wrote this and I thought it was a good time for it to go in January because this is a good time to reevaluate your conversation partners. I'm telling you, let's do that. Let's do that. And for goodness sake, you all, for goodness sake, let's be better conversation partners. Some of us, and you all know this is true, some of us may have had, if not for us, maybe somebody else, we have had bad experiences where we found our names in the mud and then we acted as if we didn't know what happened. And if the truth be told, we knew we hung around messy people. Let me just put my hands up because I'm guilty. And there is this concept in the law. I know a little something about this, you all. There's this concept in the law, and it is called assumption of risk. Assumption of risk is used whenever someone wants to cry foul and they say that they were hurt, they were injured because of somebody else's careless behavior. Well, you know what? That person then turns around and will say to you, well, you saw the dangerous situation. You knew what was going on, but you engaged in some vicious, some behavior, and you put yourself in harm's way. How many of us have seen people that we know are shady, we know they're messy, we know they gossip, and we still put ourselves in harm's way? Let's not be one of those people who cannot use assumption of risk, you all. Let's make some changes. I'm going to share this with you all. I have a cousin rather, who sometimes would post on her social media page. And she would say this, you all, I'm gonna give you this one for free. I don't know if she stole it from somebody, but I stole it from her and I'm gonna give it to you all. But she would say this. She would post, well, I've made some changes and adjustments. And if you no longer hear from me, guess what? You're one of the changes that I made. I think that's an amazing quote. I called her and said, listen, if you stole that from somebody, I stole it from you. How powerful is that, you all, as we learn how to change and choose better conversation partners than to do an evaluation of the people who are in our circle? She posted, I've made some changes this year. And if you no longer hear from me, you're one of the changes that I made. We have to make better choices, you all. So let's start here. Let's start now. Let's start today. Let's make better choices. Let's just make better choices. I believe for some of us, I really, really do. And this is why I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday to share these moments of inspiration and motivation. Because I really do believe that for some of us, our greatest victories will come this year, not because of the opportunities that we have. Hear me clearly. They won't come because of the opportunities that we have, but because of the options that we choose. I believe for some of us, we have a whole lot of opportunities, but it's not about the opportunities that we have, you all, but it's about the options that we choose. Let's choose to do better. Let's be better. Let's do better. And let's choose to spend less time with people who spend all of their time talking about people. You all, I only have 1,800 seconds. I got to keep on going. You all know we're reading from this book, Billboards to Better. It's on Amazon.com. Good evening to all of you all. And again, thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already done so, make sure that you do a thumbs up and you like the conversation. All right. I want to go to the quote for January 11th. By the way, January 11th was my grandmother's birthday. All right. So if you just want to post and quote, hey, happy birthday, grandma, I'll smile when I see it. But you all, January 11th, it says you don't need perfect vision to see a favorable outcome. You don't need perfect vision to see a favorable future. Every now and then, every now and then, I'm inspired and I'm reminded, and I want to share this from my heart because every now and then, you all, I'm inspired and I'm reminded to believe in myself. And this is one of those quotes where I want to remind you to believe in yourself. I want to remind you to have hope as it pertains to you. I want to remind you to be thankful for reaching this moment while at the same time being grateful and optimistic for what lies ahead. Have you ever had a feeling that everything was going to be all right? That everything was going to work out okay, that the end result would be just fine? Have you ever had that kind of feeling? If so, you all, that's the kind of heart that you have to have about this thing called life and this course that you walk. You got to have the heart that says everything's going to be all right. Because I truly believe that the steps of a good man and woman are ordered, placed, designed by God. And I don't have to know all the steps. I don't have to know all the steps and how and where they're laid because I trust that He knows the steps that I take and He knows the way that I go. There's a saying, you all, and the saying says, I don't know what tomorrow holds, but I know who holds tomorrow. So I want us to be optimistic and hopeful about the various tomorrows that we are going to face. I want us to know and to believe that everything is going to be all right. Everything's going to work out just fine. And that if I have any faith and any love for God, things will work together for my good. I'm just trying to inspire us tonight from the place where I really felt this inspiration because I was reminded, that's why I wrote this, that you don't have to have perfect vision to see a favorable future. And guess what, you all? I might not have the x-ray vision of Superman. I might not have the laser focused vision like the $6 million man, but I have a relationship with the creator of man. I have a relationship with the one who created man, a relationship that reminds me every now and then, as it pertains to me, he has thoughts of peace and not of evil. I want to share this with you all because, again, it wouldn't be, I would be wasting my time if I didn't inspire and motivate us. But as it pertains to you and to me, he has thoughts that are of peace and not of evil. Thoughts to give us, you all, a hope and a future, and to bring us to an expected and glorious victory that does not catch him by surprise. Every morning, you want to practice something, you all, every single morning when you get up, let's learn how to see ourselves as victors and not as victims. Will we encounter hurdles and challenges? Absolutely, yes, we will. But what I've discovered and what I'm giving you all from my heart is that in those moments, just because I stumble and I fall, that doesn't make me a failure. I used to pretend that, well, I'm not falling, I just stumble. No, no, no. Sometimes I fail, F-E-L-L. But just because I F-E-L-L, that does not make me a failure. Not at all. Not at all. But my stumbles and my falls, they make me wise and they make me strong. If only I would get up and keep my eyes on the prize and keep marching and knowing that there's a prize ahead of me. Sometimes we say, well, what is the prize? But you know what? You want peace of mind. My peace is a prize. My hopes and dreams, my goals, my aspirations, those are prizes. What I want for myself, what I want for my family, what I want for the next generation, those are prizes that are in my view. And just because I stumble and fall didn't make me a failure. I get up wiser and stronger. And I keep going. You all, we've got to learn how to change the narrative. Just because we fall and that doesn't make us a failure. Quite the opposite. Change the narrative. Change the focus. I talked a few weeks ago, said sometimes you got to turn the lens and change the focus. So how do I see myself? Here's how I see myself. Because I have succeeded before, that means I'm a success. And once a success, always a success. Y'all, let's not see ourselves through the lenses of people who consider themselves poor, pitiful, and pathetic. Absolutely. No, no. Don't see yourself through that kind of mentality, poor, pitiful, and pathetic. No, you turn the lens change the focus, change the narrative, change the perspective, and say, here is how I see myself. I really see myself as proud, positive, and powerful. Proud, positive, and powerful. That's how I see myself. And I want you all to see yourself the same way. And then you say, listen, you know what? I don't believe I was created to fail. No, absolutely not. I don't believe I was created to fail, and neither were you. Neither were you. So I've learned to shift my paradigm. I've learned to refocus my perspective. And I'm sharing this, I'm giving you all this as one of my gifts in 2021. The gift of shifting your paradigm, the gift of refocusing your perspective. And whether your vision is 2020 or 2010, you've got the ability to see a favorable outcome, the ability to see a favorable outcome, no matter what your physical vision may be. All right. Again, listen, you all, I only got 1,800 seconds. I told you all that only 1,800 seconds. And of course, I'm reading from this book. You can run on over to Amazon.com and get it. It's Billboards to Better. Or you can run over to my website, take a look at gbcutler.com. But thank you all again for sharing this space with me. I don't want to waste your time, so I'm going to go right on to January 12th. And the quote for January 12th, you all hang on. Hang on to this quote for January 12th. It says, even if it doesn't come from God, it has to come through God. Nothing that comes to harm you is going to catch God by surprise. I know it sounds really deep and really wonderful and marvelous, and it is. And it is. But you all listen, let me give you the backstory to this quote. Let me give you the backstory. I'm glad that you all enjoyed this conversation. I was having a conversation some time ago with someone who dared to challenge me about where was God while some bad things were happening. Mistake, mistake. And it's not as if I had to defend God, because I really don't. Rather, I'm telling you all, my attempt was to explain my comfort with God's sovereignty and my comfort with God allowing whatever He allows. And I had to explain my comfort, you all, because I'm telling you all this. Sometimes life beats us up. Am I happy in the midst of all that? Am I thrilled in the midst of all that? No, absolutely not, because sometimes life beats us up. Sometimes life piles on the weight. Sometimes life will overwhelm us. And the only thing we can try to do, hear me clearly, and the only thing we can try to do is process our condition in a way that takes us out before it takes us under. I want to grab the side of the seat and hold on so I won't jump up. I'm telling you all, it's not about what happens to us in life. It's not about what comes to us or comes our way or comes in our mind. I'm telling y'all, one of the things that we have got to learn to do is process what's going on in such a way that it takes us out, that our processing takes us out of it before it takes us under. And so what I found myself doing in this particular situation, that conversation, I explained at the time my current position. And my position was whatever happens as it pertained to me in that particular moment, God would do one of two things. He would either halt or he would hide. He would either halt, he would stop it, or he would hide me from it. Have you ever been walking outside and just as soon as you got to your car or you got to your house, suddenly a downpour came? And you said to yourself, whoo, Lord, I just did manage to get in this car. I just did manage to get in this house just before the sky fell. Just before the sky fell. And here's what happened. I've discovered, you all, what I've discovered is that God knows how to give me so many more of those just in time situations that I can count on. And although my life is not worry-free, my life is not trouble-free, my life is not problem-free, the narrative of my life would suggest that I've had a whole lot of times, you all, a whole lot of times when trouble, I'm telling you all, when the trouble was on the way, but it was either subverted, diverted, or averted. Because God knows how to take, when it comes to trouble, He knows how to take away its power. He knows how to prevent it altogether, or He knows how to redirect it and make it go another way. Because if He does not halt it, He knows how to hide me from it. And some of us, Lord have mercy, you all. Let me just finish reading the anecdote in this book. Missiles can be diverted. Wars can be averted. Schemes can be subverted. None of them catch God by surprise. The weapon might form, hear me clearly, the weapon might form, but trust that God will halt or hide. If He doesn't halt the weapon, He will hide you from it. You all, some of us have survived things that took others to the grave. I hope I'm inspiring and motivating us tonight. Some of us have survived things that took other people to the grave. Some of us have dodged bullets, avoided accidents, overcome sicknesses, triumphed through disease. And it's not because God loves us any more than He loved the other person, but it was because there was a certain kind of grace that carried us in the moment. And I often say this, and one day I'll probably talk about this quote when it comes to grace. I often say this, you all, that because of grace, some of us have stood on battlefields where we should have died, but we walked away whole. And guess what? Even if we didn't walk away whole, at least we walked away alive. God knows how, when it comes to trouble, He knows how to either halt it or hide me from it. So none, absolutely none of the activities and events of the day, none of them catch God by surprise. Not a health crisis, not a pandemic, not social injustice, not racial disharmony, not economic disparity, not political impasses, none of them, absolutely none of them catches God by surprise. So whatever is going on, God knows it all. So I encourage you to have a conversation with Him, kind of like I do. Can I just share my conversation, the one that I have with Him? Here's another offering that I want to give us tonight, gift us tonight. I encourage you to sometimes have a conversation with God, kind of like I do. I ask Him, God, if you don't halt it, at least hide me from it. Because I have a promise that in the time of trouble, you will hide me. I know I usually say that I'm here 1,800 seconds, and if I didn't make the 1,800 seconds, I don't want to waste your time. But again, I just want to remind us tonight, you all, that we have got to do a paradigm focus and shift and change our perspective. This year, let's make sure that we spend more time talking to people who spend less time talking about people. Don't hang around people who just talk about people, because guess what, y'all? They're in talking about you. Choose better conversation partners. And then remember, you don't need perfect vision to see a favorable outcome. Just see it with your heart and your mind. Know that your steps are ordered. Know that your steps are ordered. And again, you don't know what tomorrow may hold, but you do know who holds tomorrow. And then finally, we just talked about, even if it doesn't come from God, it has to come through God. There's something called His permissive will. It has to come through God. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Nothing comes to harm you that is going to catch Him by surprise. He will halt it. When I tell you, that thing gives me joy in the bottom of my feet. He will halt it, or He will hide me from it. All right. So what I want to do tonight, I want to close by sharing something with you. When we talk about life and the vicissitudes of life, when we talk about all of that, I want to share this poem with you from my book, Who We Once Were. And it's called A Little Hope for a Lot of Time. It says, if there be any reason in the thing that you do, then do it. If there be any glory in the thing that you choose, then choose it. And if there be any hope in the day that you seek, capture it, seize it, live in it, and love within it, because tomorrow will come and you will ask, how is it that I now stand here on this dawn of a new day when so many others have come this way? I so clearly remember yesterday. Yesterday, when I woke up, the rains were beating at my window pane. I saw no life in the moment. The elders were gathering. There was comedy and tragedy. funeral procession and a little girl standing still. But I heard music and I looked beyond the horizon to see purple and gold, black and white, red and blue, and I had hope because of you. Then someone shouted and the wind began to rage. Someone screamed and the blood poured over my feet. Someone cried for peace and the books were open to a page where we find ourselves in this hour, this puzzling, perplexing, profound, and powerful hour. This moment, such a tense moment. We're asking who, what, when, where, why, and how can I change tomorrow because it will come. And in it, there will I find you. You, my brother, my sister, my father, my mother, my wife, husband, friend, lover, son, daughter, grand, and grace. You, the center of my joy, who have become the lifter of my head. You who gave me reason, glory, hope for today, have also given me strength for tomorrow, because tomorrow it will come. You all, this has been 1800 seconds on the Let's Talk the Cutler platform. Thank you all so much for sharing this space with me. I am here every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 o'clock. If you have not already done so, please do a thumbs up on the conversation. It encourages my heart and it says to you too that you enjoy what we talk about. I will see you Thursday. If you don't have the book, run and get it. You don't need the book to join the conversation. Just share the word and come and let's talk the Cutler. Until Thursday, good night, you all. I will see you then.